Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Executive Member for Environment and Climate Emergency Decision Session. It's Tuesday, the 17th of October. First of all, just to say, I have no declarations of interest. Second item on the agenda today is to sign the minutes. So do I just sign them here at the bottom? On the back. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Right, and so we just have one item on the agenda today, the food service plan. So I'd like to introduce Matthew Paulson, Public Protection Manager, to talk us through the food service plan. Matthew.
Morning, thank you very much. As a bit of background, in order to ensure consistency of regulation of food businesses nationally, we have the Food Law Code of Practice, which local authorities are bound by to ensure consistency of regulation and ensures that businesses are targeted appropriately. As part of that Food Law Code of Practice, the Food Standards Agency asked that local authorities produce a food service plan. The food service plan states what businesses will be regulated and at what frequency. The food service plan here is in line with the Food Law Code of Practice. It doesn't deviate in any way from what we're required to do by the code. Historically, in recent years, we've been dealing with the COVID recovery period. At that point in time, the FSA allowed the Food Standards Agency, FSA, allowed us to deviate from the code for a defined period of time to deal with lesser resources. We've succeeded in delivering the COVID recovery plan. We have managed to carry out an intervention at all businesses where that was required. The COVID recovery period is now over, and local authorities have been asked to return to the code of practice. So the plan that you have in front of you is as required. It allows us to inspect businesses at an appropriate frequency, and it allows us to take a graduated approach to enforcement. From an enforcement point of view, it's always better to work with businesses, and we do work with businesses, and we encourage them and provide advice. Unfortunately, there are occasions when businesses don't comply for some reason, and when that happens, we do take a graduated approach and try as best we can to encourage them to comply before we have to take any enforcement against them. If you were to approve this service plan today, that would ensure, in line with the Food Standards Agency's recommendation, that we have transparency and accountability of decision making at appropriate level within the local authority. So that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for producing this. It's a really robust and good plan. I was interested to see that about the advice service that we offer, and that you get around 300 requests each year. And I just wondered if you can tell me a bit about the kind of advice that you're able to offer, and how much take up you have, and how effective it's proven to be.
Yeah, we offer advice from a food hygiene point of view. We offer food safety advice and food hygiene advice. That's advice on appropriate controls within a catering environment. We also can offer advice on food standards, which is allergen control, labelling, appropriate packaging, that sort of thing. What we offer can be tailored to what the business requires and where the business feels it needs assistance, whether that's from a complete inspection of the premises, where we would go through everything and ensure that any appropriate advice was given, or it may be that a business is doing well but just feels they're failing in a certain particular area where they may not have that level of knowledge. So in those cases, we can offer tailored advice just to a specific small subject area. In the past 6 months, we have undertaken 54 of the advice visits at premises, and it does help them to comply.
So it's something we actively encourage in terms of.
We encourage all businesses in the City of York to comply with food hygiene legislation. Compliance through mutual help is always the preferred approach. We're here to help businesses at the end of the day. We want them to succeed. So we always offer advice. Unfortunately, there's always a very, very small percentage of businesses that don't want advice. But the food service plan would allow us to continue to provide that service.
And you may not know or be able to give me an answer to this now, but I was interested that in here you mentioned about giving advice on reducing carbon emissions, and I just wondered what kind of measures. So there's a section on primary production and feeding stuff and the kind of measures that suppliers could implement to reduce their carbon emissions. Is that something we give advice on or monitor at all at the moment?
That's something that's currently delivered as part of the service for us by North Yorkshire Council. So I can come back to you with a response on that question.
It's good to hear. And is that something when thinking about carbon emissions that we could also think about within the food services within the City of York when
we can always we're always happy to provide advice to businesses, so we can advise them on carbon reduction. We have difficulty, although we do assist businesses. We are ultimately a regulator, so we are bound by what is a legal requirement. So we can't force businesses to do something that's not legally required of them, but we are able to offer advice and assist them. So that is something we could provide on an advice basis.
All right, that's great. Well, I'm really impressed by the food service plan. I think, like I said, it's very robust. It's been working really well, and so looking at options, paragraph 14 option A is to approve the food service plan, and I'm very happy to approve the food service plan as recommended.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't believe there's any other urgent business, so bring the meeting to a close. Thank you, everybody.